Now, each type of delivery does have its place. There's advantages and disadvantages to each one. So there are points in times when you'd actually speak impromptu, right? So for example, someone asks you how your weekend was. You're not going to read a manuscript to explain to someone how your weekend was, and you're not going to have something memorized necessarily to explain how your weekend was. You're gonna speak in a flexible, spontaneous manner about how your weekend was, right? And this is very helpful for when we, are responding to audience questions, right? It would be on the cuff. It would be limited preparation. You wouldn't want to read prepared remarks. It wouldn't come off as genuine, right? And so the disadvantages here are that it's not researched, can be disorganized, speaker has little, if any, time to practice, right? So impromptu is not researched, and it's disorganized because you haven't actually prepared how you're going to say the message, right? But it does have its place, right? Especially if you're interacting with your audience in a natural, organic way. Extemporaneous, right? A brief speech that is planned, researched, organized, and practiced, right? You've actually practiced the delivery, especially. You've gotten to the point where you're on your feet, up on your feet, practicing how you're going to say your introduction, your body, and your conclusion. Advantages is this allows speakers to develop expertise on a topic, allows structured spontaneity, allows speaker to adjust to audience feedback. So it gives you the best of both worlds, right? Or it's structured, but it's also spontaneous. You're not tied to exact language necessarily, but you have structure in terms of the topics that you're going to talk about, right? And so it allows you to speak in an organic way, but that is also structured about a topic that you are well researched on. Okay. The disadvantages is that it takes a lot of time, right? You got to research, you got to organize, you got to practice the delivery of the speech, and so it is time consuming. There's a recommendation that for every minute of public speaking that you will do, how much preparation do you need? For every minute. The recommendation is 1 to 2 hours. So if I was giving a 5 to 7 minute speech, which you will give for your informative speech, so you would prepare anywhere from 5 to 14 hours, right? And so if you put in that kind of time in actually preparing and practicing your speech, you're going to be successful, right? So giving yourself time to do that is key for success in this course and key for success in public speaking. And it really makes you confident, right? Going back to the last chapter, the more we practice and prepare, the more we can enjoy public speaking, enjoy the message, and really truly own it, right? Be confident with our message. Typical situations that you'd see this most classroom, professional settings, community presentations. Yeah, and again, something as cool as like a TED Talk right there. They're not reading their notes, they're speaking, they have their message down. A TED Talk might also be a little bit of like memorized manuscript, which is the next one. But for the most part, it's a natural, organic kind of delivery. And this is the kind of modern way that people give speeches now, right? Okay, then there is manuscript, which also has its place. So if you're giving a speech that has been written out word for word, right, where you want to get the wording exact, maybe like a lawyer's, wants to make an argument that they've written down, or definitely a politician, right, reading from a teleprompter, or maybe you've prepared remarks that you want to say exactly, right? The advantage to this is that it allows the speaker to choose each word precisely and time the speech exactly. That is right. Excuse me. So manuscript allows you to be precise with your language, to say it exactly how you want to say it. Disadvantages. Speaker uses written rather than spoken language. Difficult to modify based on audience feedback. Yes. So if the audience, objects or asks a question or something funny happens, right, you can't necessarily respond if you're simply going to read the manuscript, right? And so they're not, it's inflexible, right? An example of this, yeah, political speeches, right? Absolutely. And memorized, yes, memorized is the fourth style of delivery. This is giving a speech that has been committed to memory, right? And this also has its place, right? When you would want to just be memorized, right? You wouldn't want to have to read something. You wouldn't want to, be searching for language or try to come up, do it on the fly. You want to have it down, right? And this allows the speaker to present a speech without notes. Same speech can be presented many times. Yeah, so you have it down word for word, and it's committed to memory. The problem here is that it can come off as artificial, right? It's a little robotic because you know it so well, right? And so that can be an issue. It's just down packed like you're almost like a robot. And this is the most, it just takes a lot of time to memorize something, especially word for word or precise wording, right? And oftentimes, if you've ever been in a play or had to memorize lines, you have to memorize the line, and then you memorize the next line, and then you put them together, then you memorize the next line, and then you put all three together, and you got to keep doing that, right? And that repetition, and it just takes a long time. But this also definitely has its place, like if you're doing a short ceremonial speech. So maybe for speech 4, right, it might make sense to just have it down, no note card, right, or a poem that you memorized, for your brother's wedding or your sister's wedding or something like that, and you just want to have it absolutely down memorized, then it definitely has its place. But again, what form of delivery are we going to be working on? We are going to be working on extemporaneous. So planned, researched, organized, and practiced.